Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting along with
Calvin,
my boyfriend, and today we are going to talk to you guys and do a review for the SpongeBob SquarePants musical that we saw on Broadway last week.
Had a really great time, guys.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain.
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Oh.
Who lives in the pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
As
You will not ruin that song for me. Okay.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Absorbent in yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
That's enough of that. Right, so as some of you may know, I talked about going to New York for New Year's. We were there for about a week and also for his birthday. And since it was our first time in New York City, we decided that we definitely wanted to see a Broadway play. And as a avid SpongeBob fan, I figured why not? Why not go see SpongeBob? So the first thing I want to let you guys know is that this review has absolutely no spoilers. There are no spoilers in this. We're not going to ruin it for you guys. We don't want the video taken down because of infringement or anything.
And we don't want to ruin your experience either if you want to go see it.
Right. So we're just going to tell you a little bit about it, what we thought about it, if it gives you the most bang for your buck, and, you know, just our overall thoughts on the quality of the production. So first off, I want to get started with saying that the story in the musical is 100% a new story. Now, as a person who's been a fan of SpongeBob for a long time, since it was created in 1999, I was afraid that the musical might be just a compilation of a bunch of episodes that's just done live and with more music, but that's totally not true. There are some old favorites that are like sprinkled in.
Different catchphrases people are familiar with.
Right. And so for me, that just made it even better. Don't worry about that. So you will get a totally new story with the same characters that you love. Now, here's a point that Calvin and I kind of disagree about. Now, I am under the impression that people who will get the most enjoyment out of the play and out of this musical are people who are fans of SpongeBob. I feel like if you are not a fan of SpongeBob, if you don't get some of the jokes, you're not going to enjoy it as much, and maybe not even at all.
So I do like SpongeBob, but the production was done so well that even if you've never seen SpongeBob or you're not really caught up with everything on it, it won't make a difference. They designed everything flawlessly. All of the songs, the artwork, they did everything so smooth and seamless that you still get a fresh experience, and not having SpongeBob background won't really hurt you as far as kind of being caught up on what's going on in the actual play itself.
Yeah, so because it is a new story, there are elements of the play that you'll be okay with if you're not familiar with it. But just as a person who gets the inside jokes and the catchphrases and stuff, I will say that if you or your children, and it is 100% child appropriate.
Right.
So if you bring your children, they will definitely, you won't have anything to worry about.
It's not SpongeBob for adults.
Right, it's not SpongeBob rated R or anything. But if you and your children enjoy the show and know some of the storylines and the relationships between the characters, you will get a lot more enjoyment, to me, more so than a person who's unfamiliar with the show. But even if you are unfamiliar with the show, it's still a great play.
Right, they did a really good job, guys.
Right, so next we'll talk about the production value. So what did you think?
Again, and part of the reason why I felt like you didn't have to have any kind of SpongeBob experience, the production value was amazing. They wrote a bunch of songs for the play. They were really well performed. They had even some live acts on stage in a sense. And so the production was really great. They have the lighting effects, the sound effects, everything was done immaculately.
Yes, and so neither of us has been to New York, and
Right.
neither of us has been to a Broadway play in New York or outside of New York. So I can't compare the production value of this musical to any other musical, but I will say that this is the first play that I have ever been to that used, and I don't want to give anything away, but it used like machines. Like the special effects that they used with different machines and chutes and ladders and that type of thing was really cool, and it kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit, right, because the machines were like facing the audience and got, you know, the audience into the action, as opposed to there just being like kind of like us watching TV.
That invisible barrier.
Right. So I wanted to show you guys something. I had to buy a t-shirt because I've been, like I said, a SpongeBob fan since forever. And so I'm not going to tell you guys how much it cost because it was ridiculous. But but on the back of this shirt, here are the list of people who wrote songs. And the person at the top, is in alphabetical order, is Yolanda Adams. Yolanda Adams wrote a song for the play. Right. Some of the other names on here are David Bowie, let's see, The Flaming Lips, Tom Kitts, Cyndi Lauper, John Legend.
Aerosmith.
Is that?
T.I.
Yeah, two of the singers from Aerosmith and T.I. And if you watch the play, you will definitely be able to pick out what song T.I. wrote. That's the only little hint I'm going to give you. And another thing that I got is this little tote bag, and on the other side it says it's a beautiful bikini bottom day. So yeah. But anything else about the production value? What did you think about the music?
The music, so I'm actually not a fan of musicals, but I feel like they did a really good job of keeping it entertaining, as to where it wasn't really corny or cheesy, and it really drew you in, so that way you kind of had a good idea of what was going on with the play. So they did a really good job with the music. Right,
and everything was very clear, and all of the music helped to advance the plot in the play. It wasn't just songs just thrown in for no reason.
I am going to give my opinion on one. I think Squidward had the best song delivery and performance. So again, you know, you got to see the play to kind of see what I'm talking about, but that's my personal opinion.
So here's what I will say. My least favorite performance was the song that T.I. wrote. And I don't want to give much of anything away, but what I will say is that we all know what type of artist that T.I. is. And so him writing a song for this musical felt out of place. You know, T.I., get your money, man, you know. But it felt forced for them putting in such a song that was so different from all of the other songs. So I will say that that's probably the only negative thing that you'll hear me say about the play, because I wasn't a fan of that portion of the play for T.I.'s song.
I didn't mind T.I.'s portion. I feel like it was a good way to try and keep it relative for 2017, 2018. Relevant, excuse me. Yeah. And the I feel like the audience really didn't have a problem with it either. You know, it wasn't a deal breaker where you had to have it, but it didn't hurt the experience, I felt.
I feel like most of the audience felt they could take it or leave it, but I felt they could leave it. The next thing we'll talk about is whether we felt that we got our bang for the buck.
Okay.
So our tickets, after like the online processing fee or whatever, were about $80. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting in the mezzanine, which is the first set of nosebleeds. So like you have, is it the orchestra that's at the very bottom right in front of the stage. And then you have an area that's upstairs, which is the mezzanine. And then you have another level, which I don't know the name of those, but we weren't in those. We were in the ones that were in the first level up. Right. So we spent about $80, and I was afraid that because we got some of the cheaper seats that we wouldn't have as great of an experience. But I will say that it didn't make that much of a difference that we were up in the mezzanine versus being down on the bottom floor.
With our seats, we still had a great view of everything, so you can see everything perfectly well. The only difference that really, and I was a little jealous about, the cast will actually interact with the audience. And so we didn't get a ton of interaction just because we were a little further up, so they couldn't come all the way up to us. But if you're kind of like on the floor level, they'll come out and they'll interact with the audience and they'll shake hands with people. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was nice. Okay, but the play took about 2.5 hours with like a 30-minute intermission, and so it was pretty good. It was
lengthy, and they didn't skip on any details.
Right. So I think that we got enough bang for our buck.
I would definitely say, especially a Broadway play at that, I really feel like we did get a great value.
Right. And we went to see it at the Palace Theater. We didn't mention that before. Okay. But, you know, it's in, you know, the Broadway district of New York or wherever. So lastly, we're going to talk about our overall ratings for the play on a scale from A+ to F. Now, what did you think?
I'm going to give it a B+ to A- in that range.
Because?
Well, the only thing I feel like maybe could have helped improve the again, I'm not a huge fan of musicals, so maybe 1 or 2 less, but that's just a personal preference for me. But other than that, the playwright was done well, the acting was really good, and the songs were good. It's just, you know, it was kind of heavy for my taste, but again, that's just because I'm not a huge fan of musicals. So that's why I would put them in a B+ to A- range. Okay,
I'm going to say A. And the only reason that it doesn't get an A+ for me is because they included T.I.'s song. And also because I haven't seen a lot of plays, I'm wary of giving the first Broadway play I've seen an A+. But they did a really good job. If you have an opportunity to go to New York or go wherever and see the SpongeBob musical, definitely go see it.
Right, you won't be disappointed.
Right, you won't be disappointed. Your children won't be disappointed. I mean, they even had little acts in between the intermissions and while we were waiting for the play to get started. So it was really good. It was really fun. The best voice, I will say, for this particular production that we saw at the Palace Theater was the young lady who played Pearl. She had the best voice. So you guys should just go to see her for for that reason alone.
Right, she can really sing.
Right. But thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about the play or whatever, put them down in the description box below. I want to do more more videos with my boyfriend because you guys haven't seen him in a while, and it's always fun to do some videos with him as well.
I'm ready.
So thank you guys for watching, and peace out, home slices.
Bye guys.